You know, originally, I was going to split these up and give each of these shoes their own individual video, but I figured why not just go ahead and end the year off by combining them both into one video and showing you guys not just one, but two brand new sneaker pickups that are my final pickups of 2025. Let's get it. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and in today's video I have two brand new sneaker pickups that I want to show y'all to go ahead and end this year off right. These are both releases that came out this year that I didn't pick up right away when they dropped, but I'm more than happy to add to the collection, one of which I bought of my own accord and the other one that was actually a gift. So we're going to save the gift pair for second. You probably already know what those are based on the box if you've been keeping up. Well, maybe, I don't know, because that pair is super slept on, so you might not even know what that is based off the box. And then this box right here, the first pair we're going to get into, well, it's a lot of J's that come in this box, so who knows what's in here, unless I've already shown it in the title or thumbnail, because I never really know ahead of time how I'm doing that. But yeah, man, 2025, I've said it before, I'll say it again, has been, for me personally, easily the best year of sneakers and being a sneaker collector. We have so many great releases, so many dope pickups, and honestly, I'm seriously considering doing like a top 5 or top 10 pickups of the year. And if that's something that y'all would be interested in seeing, please let me know in the comments down below. And also let me know if I do like a top 5 or top 10 pickups of the year video, should it only be shoes that released this year, or could it be anything that I picked up this year? Because like, for example, well, today I just wore like Space Jam 11s from I always get those in the Concord release mix up, 2016, 2018, whichever, you know what I'm saying? Like the most recent release Space Jams was, by the way, those are coming back. Your boy gonna have to go ahead and scoop you, whoop, you feel me? But yeah, those would probably be on my list, even though they didn't drop this year. So I don't know, y'all let me know, would you rather see just anything I bought this year, or just only releases from this year? And would you rather see a top 5 or a top 10? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna figure it out. But in today's video, we do have two 2025 releases, and the first pair I want to show you reads as such on the label: Air Jordan 8 Retro, Black, True Red, Flint Gray, and Bright Concord. So my sneaker collectors and my enthusiasts and sneakerheads out there, y'all already know what pair this is. For those of you who don't, might catch you off guard, because again, like the only people who watch these videos, you're either just a hardcore Lotus viewer who may or may not know anything about sneakers, and then my other sneakerheads and collectors out there. So if you are one of those people, then you know what these are. If you're just one of the hardcore Lotus viewers, I don't know how y'all gonna feel about these. All right, in this box we do have a pair of the 2025 Air Jordan 8 Aquas, and these are nice, man. These are really nice, and the suede on these is really nice too. But yeah, man, this is just a sneaker that just screams 90s, which makes sense because this is a shoe that originally released in 1993. This is the Jordan N colorway that Michael wore in the 1993 All-Star game. They retroed for the first time, I want to say in 2007, retroed again in 2015, and then retroed again this year in 2025. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man, Jordan 8s historically haven't really been for me. They're not really one of my favorite models. Honestly, Jordan 8s have always been one of my least favorite models of, like, you know, the older and like non-modern Jordan releases, like of the retros, you know what I'm saying? So how I ended up with a pair of these, well, it's a lot that I could talk about, but I'll say this: I've never hated or disliked Jordan 8s. I've always felt like maybe they're just not really one of my favorites, and not necessarily for me, or not necessarily my style or whatever, but I've always appreciated the model in the shoe. There's a lot of details about these that I've always really liked, and my favorite colorway of the Jordan 8 has always been these, the Aquas. I always told myself that if I was ever going to get a pair of 8s, it would probably be the Aqua 8s, but I never really felt incentivized or like obligated. Like I never really felt like that urge or that itch to really go out and get a pair. So when they did retro in 2015, I didn't even try to get them. I didn't try to get this release either, even though at the start of this year we knew these were coming out, and I decided, you know what, man, I want a pair of Aquas. I've always liked Aquas, and I want a pair, and I got them, but I knew this was gonna be a pair that I would spin the block on and get later, and I'm glad that I did, because I got these for a price that you just can't beat. Your boy managed to pick these up from a homie at his local shop for 120 beans, boy, and you can't, come on, man. Retail was what, 200, 220? You can't beat that 120. I had to do it. Like I said, man, it's been year to reach back, year to spin back, whatever you want to call it, man. So many dope releases. There are multiple shoes that dropped this year that I really wanted, that I passed on because I knew I could get them later for cheaper. And honestly, you can apply that to both these pairs. Like I said, the second pair was actually a gift. We're gonna get into it. Yeah, like I said, Air Jordan 8s, I rock with them. I just like a lot of other models better, like 1s, 3s, 4s, 6s, 11s, 7s. You know, I mean, you see, y'all see what I normally be rocking and pulling up with. But I don't know, man. Like, again, I've never disliked 8s, but something about them is really growing on me. This isn't my first ever pair of 8s. I got a story we can talk about in a moment, but the Air Jordan 8 model, something about this year is really making it grow on me, gang. I don't know what it is. So like I said, I always had an appreciation for the Aquas. And another color I've always really liked is the women's Aquas, which I think also released those retroed, I don't know how long ago it was, relatively recently. It could have been a year ago, it could have been 2 years ago, but relatively recently, there's like an alternate version, like a white pair that dropped that I honestly like the colors on those just as much, if not more than these. And I don't know if they made those in extended sizes and if they come in men's sizes. But if they do, I might have to go ahead and hunt down a pair. They probably don't though. They probably tap out of the size 10.5 men, which is a 12 in women. And these days I don't buy size 10.5 shoes anymore. As you guys heard earlier, this pair is a size 11. And I think my feet have grown just a smidge in my adult age. And I kind of like the fit of a size 11 or even an 11.5, depending on the shoe, more than like a 10.5. Even though I do still have some 10.5s in the collection, I have sold off a lot of those and swapped them out for the bigger size. But yeah, man, so always been a fan of the Aquas. The women's Aquas I've always liked a lot as well. And they recently just released the Bugs Bunny Jordan 8s, the white, gray, and red pair that just dropped. Well, I just said it. You get it. Those just released like I want to say like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And I didn't go ahead and get a pair. And that's a colorway that I've always just been like, whatever on. Like, I never really cared about them too much. But, I don't know, man. They looking kind of clean right now. They looking. I'm just saying that if I happen to, if I can find a pair for what I paid for these, I'd probably pick them up. You know what I'm saying? If I could find a pair for 120 for the Bugs Bunnies, I'd probably grab them. Even the playoffs, which is like, I was gonna say like they kind of basic. Well, nah, because they black, white, and red. But like, I love black, white, red Jordan. You see a pair of Bread 11 sitting right there. All my favorite colorways is black, white, red. My favorite sneaker of all time is the Bread Jordan 1, which is black, red, and white. So I don't even know why I was about to say that. But like, they just don't pop as much as some of the other 8s. Because the 8s, as you can see, it's like this very abstract, very 90s looking shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shoe just screams 90s. And again, that makes a lot of sense considering that it originally released in 1993, right? Like, a lot of these shoes scream 90s because that's when they was designed and when they came out. Like, that just makes sense. But this one is just like, it really leans into that whole like 90s aesthetic, which the colors, like the abstract, like brush stroke design, like on the TPU plate. And I mean, this shoe released back on, I want to say July or August of this year. So, you know, I ain't necessarily got to go into a whole full depth review for these, but we'll probably go ahead and do it anyway. Yeah, it just really feels like nostalgic, and it just really embodies like that whole aesthetic. And the colors on these, with it being like that Concord and that blue, it just really pops. And even you got like the little hits of like yellow and red here on the tongue, and you look on the outsole again with all those colors combined. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just really fly. It's just really fly to me. And I'm very happy to have these collections. So it's the same thing with the women's Aquas, because you got all those same colors, but instead of black, you got white. And yeah, but I don't know, something about them Bugs Bunnies is hitting to me. And you know, I remember some years back, I saw a custom on Instagram, and if I can find the picture, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but if I can find it, I'm gonna put it here on screen. There was a pair somebody made that was like a custom bread colorway, where which just makes it all that much more funny, that I was gonna call like the playoffs like basic, because it's the same colors. But I guess it's about the color blocking, you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily the colors, it's about how you do it. Although just having the colors having certain colors can make a big difference. But it was like a black, white, and red colorway, but it was styled like very differently from like the playoff colorway. And when I saw those, I was like, damn, if those ever dropped, I would pick those up, and those would be my first pair of 8s. Except they wouldn't, because I mentioned earlier that I've actually had a pair of 8s before. Before we get into that story though, let's go ahead and take a little closer look at this shoe. And I'm gonna try not to lose my train of thought. We're gonna get back to that story eventually. But here, like I said, we have the Air Jordan Aqua 8, and let's start at the outsole. You see this red Jumpman give you that nice hit there at the toe. Then you have this Aquatone. I believe Aquatone is what they're calling it. I don't remember if the box specified that's what it's called. I know originally it used to be called Aquatone, which is where the shoe actually gets its name from. Black, true red, flint gray, bright Concord. Okay, so it actually doesn't mention the Aquatone color, but that's where the shoe gets the name, is this blue color, which is Aquatone. So you have like that Aquatone rubber strip going on here that extends into the middle of the outsole. And then I don't know, is this TPU? Is this plastic? Is this, I don't actually know what the material is here at the bottom, because obviously the majority of the outsole, like 80% of the outsole is rubber. But then you have like this plate here at the bottom where you actually have like the design at. It's not rubber. It's, I want to say, Nah, it's not TPU. I don't know. I honestly, to this day, I don't know what that material is. I'm gonna keep it stacked with you. I ain't gonna lie to you and pretend like I do, but I don't know. But you can see it's got like that kind of like abstract 90s art design on it, where you have some yellow, some aqua tones, some purple, little hits of red, and a little bit of black mixed in there. And yeah, and then you have like the circular traction pattern all throughout the bottom of the shoe, and that rounds out the heel here at the back. And honestly, the Air Jordan 8 probably has one of the coolest outsoles of all the Air Jordans. Even if the 8s aren't a top 5 silhouette, the outsole certainly is. I think is really, really cool. Before I get too distracted though, we're gonna get back into the shoe. We'll probably come back to that and the story about the Mother 8s later. But moving on up to the midsole, you can see we've got that black rubber peeking up through. Then you've got those hits of Concord purple here on the midsole, as well as that aqua tone here, the rubber creeping up. And one of the really cool details of the Air Jordan 8 that you might not be able to see that well here on camera is that there's actually like a very sparkly look to the purple or Concord paint on these. Now, I remember it being very controversial when the 2015 retro came out, because they had like a much thicker like glitter mixed in with the paint. And honestly, now I think about it, that's probably what part of the issue was. So the older pair, like the original pair, the 1993 retro did have glitter like in the paint, like in the midsole, that made it like sparkle and look really, really cool. The 2007 retro, it might not have had that. And if it did have it, it was significantly more subtle. And then so when the 2015 retro came out, it was like way thicker. It was like, and you know what it was? And I'll try to see if I can find pictures on screen again, like give you guys more of like a visual, you know, like more of a visual of what I'm talking about. The glitter looked like it was a lot more caked on, like there was a lot more of it. And also looked like it kind of sat on top of the paint. Whereas here, it's more subtle than it was on the 2015 pair, and it looks more like it's mixed in with the paint. And yeah, I mean, in person, like you can see it clearly. I don't know how I'm getting that to come through on camera, but that just goes to show, I guess, how much more subtle it actually is. Honestly, I wasn't like huge on how, you know, caked on the glitter was on 2015 pair, but I really don't mind it. Like if I would have had a 2015 pair, I think I would have. I still think the shoe looks good, honestly. And the other controversial thing as well is the suede that you see here at the back. So you can see that it has like this very light gray or light charcoal that contrasts very well with the black suede here. And this suede also feels this reminds me of another shoe that I've got. What does this feel like? This feels like, I'll be right back, hold on. You know what this feels like? These Aqua 8s, the suede on here feels a lot like the suede on the reimagined black metallic 5s. But honestly, I was really impressed with the materials on this just because it feels super soft and buttery. On the Aquas, it feels even a little bit nicer. Maybe I'm tripping. It feels a little bit smoother, a little bit softer. I don't know if it's because it's thicker or what, because it does. I mean, you're not gonna be able to see this on camera, but it does have a little bit of like motion to it. You know how like sometimes when the suede's a little bit longer and you brush it back and forth, you can see like the brush strokes, like the lines in it. I don't really think you can do that much on the reimagined. I mean, a tiny little bit. I think it's that the suede is just ever so slightly longer on the Aquas, because I can very clearly see it when I do it on here. Like I don't think I'm gonna be able to get that to show up on camera at all. Yeah, no, it just looks pitch black. But trust and believe, in person, like I can see the motion of the suede a little bit. On the metallics, you really can't. And I think it's just that's a little bit shorter on the 5s than it is on these 8s, but it feels very, very nice on both. Like I love this material a lot. But getting back to the Aquas, I'm gonna just go ahead and set that there on the desk. When you move up from the midsole, you see you've got this TPU plate that has that aqua tone, that Concord purple, and that black kind of all swirling together there with like a little brush stroke effect that looks very, very cool. You've got a smaller plate like it on the other side as well. And then when you get up to the ankle, you see you've got this gray suede. It's like a very light charcoal color. And like I was saying, it contrasts very, very nicely with the black suede that you have on here. And you also have it going around the eye stay. And this the lightness of this suede has also been very controversial, because the original pair that came out in 1993, it was more like a dark charcoal, right? And then in 2007, that pair was even darker. Now, oftentimes this happens a lot with shoes where a lot of people who collect sneakers, well, I guess it's even more the case these days. A lot of people who collect shoes or like buy shoes haven't been around since the days of the 80s and 90s when a lot of these shoes were coming out. And don't get me wrong, there are people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever who were out for some of these original releases, but a lot of them are younger, right? And some of them are so young or so new to the hobby or the interest that they weren't maybe even around for some of the first retros of these, or their introduction was those first retros. So to some of them, those are like the OGs. So some people will look at like a 2007 Aqua, or like a 2001 Black Cement 3, or like a 2001 Bread 11, or like I don't, you know, like some of those like early 2000s retros. They'll look at those as like what the sneaker should be, right? So when you look at that 2007 Aqua, it's actually the darkest out of all the releases when it comes to the suede on the ankle of all the Aquas. That's not necessarily how it should be. Now, it should be darker than this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and y'all let me know if I'm tripping or not. You may agree, you may disagree. I think this is one of the rare cases where low-key, I think the lighter suede is better. I think I like this more than the OG. Now, don't get me wrong. Whether you talk about the OG release, 07, 2015, or this release, I think they all look good. I think every version of the Aqua looks good. But I think just the way like the light gray contrasts with the black, I think it just really makes the shoe pop, and I like it a lot. For a shoe that's already kind of flashy with the colors that it's got, it's just, you get like a mostly muted upper, despite like you have, like I said, like all these colors going on. But I don't know, you just get like this nice little pop with that light gray, and I just feel like it looks really, really dope. I'm a big fan of it. I honestly like the lighter suede more than the darker suede. That might be a hot take, but I don't know. And I'm somebody who usually tries to be, I like OG. Like almost all my favorite colorways of Jordans are like OG colorways. You know what I'm saying? Like hell, like even these are OG colorways. My favorite Jordan ever is the Bread 1, Carmine 6s, Bread 4s, Black Cement 3s. I like all the OGs. And so I usually want them to be as close to the original as possible. But this is just one of them rare cases where low-key, I feel like I like this more. That's just me though. So this might be my favorite release of the Aqua 8. That might be crazy to say. I don't know. Going back to the shoe though, the Aqua 8s, or the Jordan 8 in general, has always been a shoe that clearly drew some inspiration from the Air Raid, which I want to say the Nike Air Raid is a shoe that released like the year before in 1992 originally, because it's got like these cross straps here, right, where it gives you like a lot of extra lockdown and support for your foot. Now the camera don't want to focus because it's trying to lock on my eyes right now. But yeah, you have like these straps that go across the middle of the shoe, and on this shoe in particular, you have a blacked out 23. I think all the 8s have a 23, but the Aquas I think are the only ones that have it like blend in, because usually you might get like some outline or like contrast stitching or, you know, different colors or whatever, but it's actually blacked out on the Aquas, and I think it looks really, really clean. Also, the font that they use for the 23, again, just feels very retro, feels very nostalgic. It just feels very 90s, you know what I'm saying? And I like it quite a lot. And then if I can actually undo these straps here and give you guys a little bit of a closer look at like the, you know, the mid foot of the shoe and the laces and everything, and also just a nice little look at the tongue. Yeah, there we go. And like I was saying, you know, I saw a picture recently of somebody who cut the straps off their 8s, and it just, nah, that ain't it, gang. That ain't it at all. The straps got to be there. They look naked without it. But you have black laces on the shoe, a black neoprene tongue. I want to say this is neoprene. Yeah, I feel like neoprene. Black neoprene tongue. Again, that light charcoal suede going around the eye stay. And then here on the tongue, you have this patch, which is like, I believe it's chenille, Chenil. Yeah, I think it's pronounced chenille, right? Where you have that aqua tone, that Concord black with a red Jumpman in the middle, as well as that yellowish orangish ring going around it. That again just adds a nice little pop of color and just makes you stand out even more. Very, very dope. Very, very dope. And then also here on the straps, on the actual Velcro part, you can see that it actually says Air Jordan in there. If I can maybe get that to show up, I know it's gonna be kind of difficult because it's black on black, but if I can get maybe the right angle, yeah, you can kind of see this guy Air Jordan written on the strap there, and kind of like a raised print. I don't know what you call it. Is it, would you call it like a puff print? I don't know if you necessarily call it like a puff print, but it's like it's raised on the strap, you know what I'm saying? You can feel it. One more really, really dope feature about these actually is the insole, because if I can go ahead and get the insole out of here, you'll see that we've actually got all those crazy colors going on. You got the aqua tone, the Concord, so a little bit of red in there, some orange, and it's just very, very dope. I like this a lot. It's actually a polyurethane insole as well, so it's like super, super nice. It's very, very comfortable. J's that have like these polyurethane insoles are usually like way more comfortable than like the Dream Cell and some of the other shit that they be putting in here. I prefer the ones that come with these. Now, I know y'all think I forgot, but I ain't forget that story. So these are actually not my first ever pair of Jordan 8s. They're my second. The first pair of 8s I ever had was actually probably, like, in my opinion, maybe the ugliest Jordan 8 to ever release. And so it begs the question, why did I ever buy them? So back in 2012, the first pair of Jordan 8s I ever owned was actually the P-Pod Jordan 8s. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a picture of these on screen right now. And I'm not a fan of these really at all. And if I wore them ever, it might have only been one time. So why on earth did I buy these in the first place? Well, it was because I got a really good deal. Now, I don't remember exactly what the prices that I paid. It might have been 20 or 30 bucks. Like, it was honestly that cheap. It was like 20 or 30 bucks, maybe 40. And matter of fact, for the sake of the story, for argument's sake, let's just go ahead and say it was $40. Let's just be generous and say I paid $40 for them. They were in immaculate condition. They were super, super clean. And I wasn't a fan of them, but I knew that they were worth more than $40. And this is at a point in my life where, you know, I ain't got no job or nothing like that. Like, I'm making income by buying, selling, and trading sneakers and like flipping shoes and, you know what I'm saying, restoring sneakers for money and things like that, right? That's how I'm able to afford my own clothes and shoes at this point. You know, I buy stuff that I might not even like in order to flip it, in order to go get something that I do like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I was hustling back then. So I bought them for $40 with the intent of like, oh, I can easily flip these for like 100, 120, something like that, right? Because there was actually people out there who really liked those. Little did I know the deal that was coming my way. So the reason why I know for a fact that this was back in 2012 was because I made a transaction where I ended up trading those for a brand new pair of the white cement 4s that released that year. Now, the white cements also re-released this year in 2025, and we got multiple pairs of those. And one of my favorite shoes of all time, right? And I told a story, I believe, in that video about how like in 2012, I wanted to get them and then I wasn't able to get them. And then a chance came up to get them and I passed on them. And I was sleep talking. And he said, we're not going to get into the whole story here. But basically, I told a whole story about how like I wanted to get them, but couldn't. And then the next morning, my dad woke me up saying we can go get them. And I was like, nah, I'm cool. I was sleep talking. I didn't mean that. And I woke up mad. Little did I know that a month or two later, I would basically end up paying $40 for a pair. Somebody, and they made me this offer. I was in a Facebook group, you know what I'm saying? And I posted them up for sale or whatever. And somebody approached me with an offer saying, hey, would you trade me these for this pair of white cement 4s? Now, my first thought is that this is just too good to be true. You know what I'm saying? It's no way somebody want to trade me a brand new pair of these cement 4s for the ugly ass Peapod 8s. But you know what I'm saying? I cover all my bases. We meeting in public. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting thorough pictures of the shoes, everything like that. I'm gauging, you know, who this person is through the messages that we have and everything like that. But I'm covering all my bases and playing it safe. But we end up meeting up. He showed me his shoes. I show him mine. We exchange one at a time. You know what I'm saying? Like, give him a good little look over. Smooth transaction. That's just a straight up good deal. Hey, like I said, it's different strokes for different folks, right? So that might have been one of his grails. It might have been one of his favorites. Power to him. I was more than happy to get those up to go ahead and get my hands on a pair of white cements. But yeah, I never expected or anticipated owning that shoe. You know what I'm saying? And I was more than happy to get rid of them because I only ever even got them in the first place because I got them for such a good deal. And Lord knows I came up getting a brand new pair of white cements. But yeah, but like I said, I always liked the Aquas. The Aquas were always my favorite Jordan 8. And now I'm the proud owner of a pair. And like I said, I managed to get these for $120 from a local shop. Shout out to the homie for hooking it up. Yeah, man. These, like I said, I don't know what it is, man. Your boy kind of feeling the 8s, man. Your boy kind of feeling the 8s. I want some women's Aquas if they make them in my size. I'm going to look into that. And I kind of want them Bugs Bunnies. But again, I'm only willing to pay so much for them. So like I'll only get a pair if I can find them like for the low ski. Like around $100 or less is probably the most I'd be willing to pay for a Jordan 8. Because it's a lot of 8s that I don't like the Dornbeckers. I've never been a big fan of those. The Peapods, like we just discussed, I ain't a fan of those. The Chrome 8s, like if I'm gonna wear a black Jordan 8, it's just gonna be the Aquas, you feel me? There's another pair, it's the white and orange. Are they the Stealth? I think it's the Stealth 8s. It's like white, gray, and orange. I think they're called the Stealths. I think it's like a blaze orange. Like I was never a fan of those either. So like most Jordan 8 colorways, I'm really not too big on. But these Aquas, I had to have them. Like I said, I knew that these were releasing this year. And if you remember, we went over this in one of my recent videos. I don't remember if it was the Kobe's or the, I don't remember. It was one of the recent pickup videos. I talked about all the shoes that I wanted to get for this year. And these were on the list. You know what I'm saying? So that's one more crossed off the list that we were able to get. And we probably gonna recap that whenever I do one of those top pickup videos. Anyway, we yapped enough about the Aquas. Very dope shoe, very happy to have these. But like I said, we got one more pair to show in this video. All right, so we went over the Aquas, and as much as I love that pair and as dope as I think they are, like I said earlier, this pair is even more special to me. And this isn't like a particularly hype release or anything like that. Some of y'all probably ain't sweating these too tough. Personally, I think these are absolute fire, and I knew I needed to have them in my collection at some point. But these were a gift. And it's the first gift that I've received in a long time that I actually asked for. And let's go ahead and talk about that for a little bit, okay? I can admittedly be a little bit of a Grinch. Now, not necessarily in like I hate Christmas and I be ruining it for everybody else, because like I definitely will buy gifts for my friends and family, my loved ones and everything like that. Like I exchange gifts with my girl every year, including that custom Lakers jersey I got hanging back there. I might give y'all a little closer look at that later. And you know, like I buy gifts for like my family and everything, like I said. But when it comes to receiving gifts, like I don't really be getting into the spirit like that. Like I don't really ask anybody for anything. And you know, every year, like ever since I was like a teenager, like probably since I was like 13 years old, I kind of just stopped asking my parents for things for Christmas, and I just kind of like was over it, you know what I mean? And but every year still my dad hits me up like, hey man, anything you want for Christmas? Hey, you want something for Christmas? Hey, what you want for Christmas? Hey, you want anything for Christmas? Hey, what do you want for Christmas this year? And you know, he'll usually try to find me something, whether it's like, you know, hey, who don't need a new pair of slides? Here goes some socks for you. I know you could always use some new socks, or you know, here goes some fresh pajamas, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just little essential stuff like that. Here go a little goodie bag from Bath and Body Works, something just to feel like he got me something, you know what I'm saying? Which I always appreciate. It's not that I'm not appreciative, it's just I genuinely don't be wanting too much, you know what I'm saying? And I'm also the type of person that when there's something that I really want, I go get it. And that's part of what makes it so difficult for both him and my girl, and that's what they both told me multiple times, is that I'm really difficult to shop for because you got everything. So like how and also it's like anything that you really want, you go and get yourself. So how do I, you know what I'm saying, what am I ever meant to get you? That being said, Shorty be doing her thing with the gifts. I ain't even gonna lie, she always figure out something that's really, really dope. Like I said, jersey back there, that's fire. Even this necklace y'all see me wearing every single day with the lotus flower on it, she got me this was one of our anniversary gifts. So again, she always do her thing with that. But this year I took a vow. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf, man. I'm trying to not block my blessings. When people want to give you something, whether it's help or, you know, hook you up with a gift or just whatever the case is, like I'm trying to be more accepting of that, because historically that's not usually who I am. Earlier this year, I accepted a copy of Chrono Trigger for the Nintendo DS from a viewer and a copy of Pokemon Black 2 for the Nintendo DS from a different viewer. That's $300 worth of games in just those two cartridges right there, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that like I wouldn't have done before. Now I remember I talked about this in that video where I talked about valuing my own independence and how I usually don't be accepting handouts and stuff for free from people. And then it's, of course, I got a couple of smart asses and smart Alex in the comments. Most people was understanding and they felt where I was coming from and they thought that was really cool and everything. But there's always gonna be a couple of knuckleheads, right? That's just, especially on the internet, but that's just the case in life in general. But I was talking about how, like, you know, I usually don't be receiving stuff, but ever since I've been a part of like this friend group, you know, with Squad, where they've been very generous and very helping and they've done things for me. And then, you know, I have viewers I want to do things, and then my girl and everything like that. Like I said, trying to not block my blessings no more. And just, so my pops hit me up. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna read you exactly what this fool texted me. Yeah, so he hit me out the blue, like at the beginning of the month, and said, hey, send me a few things you would like that you just haven't gotten for yourself. And then in all caps with a bunch of exclamation points, just send it. And then he sent another message, again in all caps with even more exclamation points, just send it. I hit him back like, am I being bullied right now? Like, am I dead being bullied into accepting like a Christmas gift? And so, you know what I'm saying, he hit me back, he's like, boy, I said just send it, you ain't got to say nothing. And I'm like, all right. So for the first time since I was literally like 12 years old, dead ass, I gave him a Christmas list. I sent him a list of shoes that have dropped that I planned on getting at some point, but I just haven't bought for myself. Like we've been saying, it's been year to spin back, year to reach back, so many dope releases, and it's a few pairs that I passed on that I'm like, I'm probably gonna be able to get those down the line for even cheaper than retail. And well, you can't beat free. So I hit him back, I sent him a list. Here's some shoes that I planned on copping that I haven't gotten around to yet. Surprise me, you know what I'm saying? And so here in this box, I have the Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG Sail University Red and Pale Ivory. Now I don't know if these have a nickname, to be honest, but when I saw images of these come out online, I knew that I just had to have them. To me, this is honestly one of the best releases of the year, even though that they really flying under the radar. People don't care about them like that. They're not hype or nothing. I care about them. I think these are absolutely nuts. And oh man, I don't care about your retail, your resale. I don't care about any hype or lack thereof. These are butter. People sleep, man. Y'all can say Jordan 1s are dead until you blew in the face. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. These are crazy. Genuinely one of my favorite releases of the year. We have, I don't think these have a name. We could call these the elephant print, or I'm gonna call them the pale ivory because that's the color. We're gonna call these the pale ivory Jordan 1s. I don't know if they have like an official nickname or if the streets have named these anything in particular. I might have to dim the lights a little bit for y'all to get a better look. But these are crazy. You see the combination of like just that white, off-white, that gray, and then like the raw color and the exposed foam you got here on the tongue with them, just some subtle hits of red throughout the shoe. These is crazy. The elephant print on the swoosh. Is this suede or leather here on the ankle? I think this is like a really short suede maybe, or like a nubuck. I can't tell for sure. But yeah, these are nice. These are even nicer in hand than they were in person. This is a shoe that I want to say just released like a month or two ago, right? And when images of these first came out, I knew that I had to have them. I thought the colorway was absolutely gorgeous. But it was a shoe that I told myself, we gonna hold off. We're not gonna buy them right away because this is a shoe that I'll be able to spin the block on because there's zero hype on these. People think Jordan 1s are dead. No one cares about them. So I'm probably gonna be able to get them for a good price later down the line. Little did I know, I was getting them for the free 99. You feel me? Yeah, I was like, I'll spin the block on them eventually because they probably gonna sit. And they are. You can still get these in a lot of places. And honestly, they're probably going for under retail, I want to say now, on like StockX and sites like that. So if this shoe interests you, you'll probably find these for $120 or less. I think retail might have been like 180. Does it say here on the box? Nah, they used to have like the MSRP on these labels and stuff. I don't know if they still do that these days. I don't really be paying attention to that. But these are crazy to me. If I do like a top 10 list, these is gonna be in there for sure. For me personally, y'all know Jordan 1s are my favorite silhouette. I don't care what they say about Jordan 1s are dead or they not. I don't care. I was never in this for what everybody else thinks. I care about what I think of what I think only. You know what I'm saying? And this colorway is so fire. It's so simple, but it's so dope. The materials on these is nice too. Because I didn't even know this was. And come on, quit playing with them. Quit playing. All right, let's go ahead and get into the shoe. And actually, hold on, let me see something real quick. Because on the other shoe, does it say something different on the outsole? Because there's some details on here that we gonna have to take a look at. No, it's the same thing. All right, go ahead and set this off to the side. So here we have the pale ivory elephant print Jordan 1. And like I said, honestly, one of the most beautiful pairs to release this year. So let's go ahead and start off with the outsole, which as you can see, is like this very like milky white translucent outsole. I might have to go ahead and dim the lights a little bit again for y'all again to get a nice look at these details. But it has this milky white translucent outsole that has Flight written there on the bottom in red. Flight obviously being some very common language often used for Jordan brand and their marketing and everything like that. I think they even have like a shoe that's just straight up called the Flights, right? Yeah, they do. I never really rock with any of the models, but that's just me personally. You know, if you do, power to you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so you have that milky white translucent outsole with Flight written there in red. Usual traction that you always get on the Jordan 1. Moving on up to the upper, you see here on the midsole, you've got, is this sail? Yeah, it's definitely, actually, hold on, let me compare it to, just grabbed a random pair of Jordan 1s. These are the, not the reimagines, but the regular UNC Jordan 1s from 2016, I want to say. And yeah, it's sail. It's not as dark as it can be on some pairs, but I am seeing a little bit of difference in the color of the midsole compared to the UNCs, which I know is just like a pure white. I don't know if you'll be able to see a difference at all on camera, but if you look, it definitely, well, actually, no, you can see it a little bit. It's coming through just a tiny little bit. I don't know, maybe my eyes is playing tricks on me. I feel like you can see a slight difference. But that color of the midsole, it kind of runs throughout the entire upper, where you have like that ever so slightly off-white color mixed in with like some light gray, and just creates a really beautiful shoe. So yeah, you have different materials that are used on here that I didn't even realize. I didn't realize that here on the toe box that you had like a suede, and this is really nice. So going back to the shoe, let me go ahead. I'm sitting here like admiring them without even really showing y'all. You have leather here on the toe box. What would you call this part here? Like the vamp. And then you actually have like this canvas material here, like in the middle of the eye stay, which again, I didn't realize so many different materials were used on the shoe. Actually, you can see a pretty good look at the color. You can tell that that's like an off-white, right? So you have leather here on the toe box, leather here at the heel. Then you have this gray suede elephant print swoosh on both sides of the shoe. That red contrast stitching there at the back where both swooshes meet on the heel. You've got that canvas material there in the middle of the eye stay. You got hits of gray suede here at the ankle, with like this, what would you call this pattern? Is this kind of like a snake skin, or is that also meant to be like an elephant print kind of thing? Like obviously not like the Jordan brand elephant print, but like an elephant skin. I'm really not sure, but you can see the texture and the material for yourself. Y'all go ahead and decide what you want to call that. And you see you have your Wings logo there in gray as well. And then on the toe box, you actually have like a really smooth like nubuck or suede. And I honestly, I thought this was leather. I didn't realize it was this material until I got these in hand. And don't get me wrong, it's very nice. I ain't mad at it at all. I just didn't realize it was what it was. And one of the really dope details about the shoe that I think there's only one other shoe I can think of that does this is that you actually have a stitched Jumpman here in white. Yeah, there you go. You see it. A white Jumpman there on the toe box. The only other shoe I've seen, or at least the only other like Jordan retro that I've seen do this, definitely Jordan 1, is the Eric Costin Jordan 1 lows that look like the Midnight Navy highs that I do have, the Midnight Navy Japan Jordan 1s. There's a low top version for Eric Costin that has like a red Jumpman here on the toe. And honestly, honestly, I think if this little Jumpman here on the toe was red, it looks fire as it is in like this silver or this white, but if it had been red, that'd have been like the perfect extra little pop. I think that will look really, really good. And I'm almost tempted to do it myself. I used to restore, I never customized shoes, but I used to restore shoes myself. So I know how to like paint and dye and stuff like that, you know, reverse oxidation on soles, everything like that. I was never, you know, I ain't no Vic Almighty, but I know my way around a brush and a toothpick and some leather dye and some leather paint and a little bit of like too thin or some, you know what I'm saying, some fabric dye. Like I could easily make that red if I wanted to. I'm probably not going to do it because I think I want to let these remain pristine and as is an original, and I wouldn't even want to risk messing them up because again, these were a gift, so I kind of want to leave them as OG. But if I could get another pair for super cheap to experiment on, I low-key might mess around and try doing that because I do think that would just, it would set that off so nice. But it's really nice as it is, so we just gonna leave it as is for now. And then yeah, here on the tongue, I think is another really cool detail. So obviously, ever since, you know, Virgil has collaborated with Nike, you've seen them take inspiration with some of their shoes and, you know, use some of that off-white influence, whatever. And so similar to like the turbo greens, or like there's like these OG EX, what they call like the Phantom or something like that. It's like this black and gray Jordan 1 low. You have like this raw exposed foam. Matter of fact, the Lost and Founds do something similar. It's not like the exposed edges, but you have like the foam here just like exposed, like a raw edge to the tongue. And then they don't even have like another layer of what would you call it, like a nylon or something like going over it. I mean, there is a material over it, like it's not just exposed foam at the front, it definitely is on the side, so this is probably going to age and get even more yellow with time, but I think it'll probably be just fine. But I think it's really, really cool. Again, it adds some contrast to the shoe. It's a nice little touch of color without like really being too disruptive in my opinion. Then honestly, most of it's going to be covered up by the laces when you lace them up anyway, which the laces are again kind of in like that off-white bone color. They more resemble the color of the toe box than like the leather on the shoe. But yeah, I think it looks really, really dope. But then here at the top, you have that Nike Air tag, and again, that bone color with the Nike Air actually written in red with also red text behind the tongue. But these, hey man, I'm glad Jordan 1s are dead. More for me. Yeah, these are fire, man. These are fire. These easily make my top 10 pickups of the year, maybe even top 5. These might be top 5 for me, no cap. So again, huge shout out to my pops for this. Thank you so much. And funnily enough, you know what I bought him for Christmas? It wasn't these, but this year his Christmas, because my dad also collects shoes, mostly from me gifting him shoes. But he's always been in sneakers of fashion. I mean, that's kind of partially where I get it from, right? He was always fashionable growing up. He's always been into like, you know, being fly and having like nice clothes. Now he wasn't a sneaker collector. He didn't really get into collecting sneakers until I got more into it myself, and we kind of like got into it together. And I've been doing it on my own for a while. We do it independently. And it's been a long time since he bought me any shoes, but I buy him shoes all the time because I'm grown now and I can do that. You know what I'm saying? I'll be spoiling my pops, but I actually bought him the UNC Reimagines because he really likes those. He wanted a pair, he didn't have them, so I went ahead and scooped him up a pair of those for Christmas. I usually get him a new pair of shoes every Christmas. I buy him shoes randomly sometimes, but he damn near got as many pairs as I do. And so it was just funny, like we just bought each other a pair of Jordan 1s for Christmas. And yeah, man, and honestly, I know you watching the video. I don't know what the hell I'm getting you next in terms, because man, look, I done bought him all his grails, you know what I'm saying? All his favorite Jordans of all time. He got them all. I don't know, like I'm running out. I'm glad he said he wanted those, which was a new release, because all the shoes he grew up wanting as a kid, or the stuff that he thought was fly back in the 80s and 90s, like he got them all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't buy them all, so I don't know where to go from here. We gonna have to figure that one out. Hopefully some more new shit drop that he liked, that he ain't caught for himself, so I can just keep on doing that, because buying shoes is easy. I'm no better at gift giving than anybody else, so like I don't know what I'm saying, but appreciate you, big dog. Good looking out, playboy. Good looking out. I don't know when I'm gonna rock these, but these is definitely getting rocked in the near future, because these man, y'all are sleep on these. I don't more for me, man, more for me. But I think that's gonna do it for me. This video has gone on long enough, man. Jordan 8 Aqua, Jordan 1 Pale Ivory. I'm gonna go ahead and move the mic a little bit, see if I can position myself to get these both in view a little bit better, or we could just put them in front like that. But Jordan 8 Aqua, Jordan 1 Pale Ivory. Again, huge shout out to my pops for the Christmas gift. Really appreciate that. Actually, you know, before we get out of here, I did say that I might give y'all a closer look at the jersey back here. Let me just go grab that before we jump out of here. So real quick, this right here is the Christmas gift I got from Shorty this year. It is a custom Lakers jersey. with my name Asakura on the back with the number 17, which is the number I wear all the time in NBA 2K. If you want to know why, it's because individually the numbers 1 and 7 are some of my favorite numbers, as well as number 17 together. Also, the reason I wear it in 2K is because 1 + 7 = 8. Kobe's my favorite player of all time, so that's my way of like honoring him and paying homage without straight up just wearing the number 8, because everybody be doing that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, everybody wears 8 or 24, and I just always like the number 17, you know what I'm saying? The biggest reason why I wear it in 2K is for Kobe. Yeah, so that's why it's number 17. But yeah, this is fly. This is fly. I buy my girl shoes a lot as well, usually for gifts. This year, however, I didn't do that. I got her something. I got her this purse that she really wanted, and that she greatly appreciates. And she's really good. She be nervous all the time because, like I said, her and my dad especially, they, even when I don't ask for anything, they always try really hard to get me something, and then they both think I'm extremely difficult to shop for, which I am. I get it. But she always finds a way. She always figures out something super dope like this that she manages to get me, stuff that sometimes I don't even be thinking to get for myself, and then when I get, I'm like, damn, I should have bought this for myself, you know what I'm saying? So appreciate you, shorty. Appreciate you, pops. Now let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, matter of fact, let me know if you got any shoes for Christmas. What did you get? And if you didn't get any shoes, what was your favorite gift that you got this year for Christmas? Hopefully all of you guys out there had a very happy holidays and you have an even better new year. And yeah, man, appreciate y'all for continuing to watch. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all this content that I'm bringing you. With all that being said, that's pretty much all I have today. Remember, nothing could happen to you, swing the bat. Later.